Shalom. All praise, glory, and honor be to the Most High Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. In the Hebrew, the pure language, it's Kalalaliyam La, Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Yahweh is the true name for the Almighty, and Yahweh Shai is the true name for the Son of the Almighty. Our Lord and Savior, who is going to deliver the elect of the nation of Israel from the coming destruction that is coming upon all the world. Alright, you so-called Negroes, Latinos and Native American Indians, West Indians are the real Israelites, were the chosen people of the Father. And the reason why we're in this predicament today, for over 400 years, way over 400 years, it's because we disobeyed the laws of the Heavenly Father, man. And you have these men um, that is celebrated in the Jamaican culture today as national heroes. And today is referred to as National Heroes Day. Now, I previously did a video um, some time ago, some years ago, about national heroes tried and failed, and it wasn't to speak badly about some of their acts or to ridicule or look down on them in any way. It's just that we have a savior, and it wasn't time for us to be liberated, from our enemies, because even the Father said what? He's the one. His son is gonna redeem us, man. I mean, to buy us back, because he was the one who put us in slavery until this very day, and until he says when, that's when we will be delivered. And none of these men. That's why it was impossible for any one of these men to do so. Now we're gonna zoom in on this particular individual right here, referred to as Paul Bogle, and even the very image of what they call Paul Bogle is a controversy. A lot of people don't know, because I'm going to show you what I'm talking about concerning that. But let me read a precept first, right? Let me read a precept first. Right. Isaiah 8 and 19. And when they shall say unto you, seek unto them that have familiar spirits, mean witches, and unto wizards and peep, and that mutter, should not a people seek unto their God for the living to the dead? So you should not seek after any of these things, because you already talking to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. You already. I'm not saying, and I'm not saying these. One of them was a witch, though. you know. According to the stories, which was this Nanny of the Maroon, right? But the point is to seek. Should not you people seek after your power and not after men? The scripture said also, put not thy trust in men. Sorry. Let me see if I can find it. I thought I had it up in Jeremiah. Yeah. Not thy trust in man. Let me see. Right, yeah. Right, he said Micah 7 and 5. Trust ye not in a friend, put ye not confident in a guide. Keep the doors of thy mouth from her that is in thy bosom. So the point is that trust not in a friend. There's also another one. Trust it in man. Make it flesh his arm. Right, right. This is Jeremiah 17, verse 5. Thus saith the Lord, cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, whose heart departed from the Most High. You know, and none of these men heart wasn't with the Most High, wasn't about the Most High. And that's why it wasn't time. It couldn't be these men that raise us up, or to lift up people out of the dungeon, out of the pit, out of the suffering. That's why they failed. All right, because Yahweh ought to be the first, the first principle. I have to be the principle, right? I have to be the guide. All right. So if Yahweh Bashim Yeshua was their guide, for this particular purpose of redemption, it would have been so. But him designate and appoint his son to do that job already. All right. So what is a hero? I'm gonna zoom in and be a central figure in an event period or movement, and we're gonna look at Paul Bogle, which Paul Bogle. I'm gonna show you something with Paul Bogle, right? Google it. So let me type in uh, Paul Bogle and Thomas Jennings. Paul Bogle and Thomas Jennings. I'm sure it's something with this. Where is it? No. Yeah. Right. So this is let me see. Will the real Paul Bogle please stand up? No, this is what you people is a confusion of what you people celebrate. The same image that they put up out here as Paul Bogle as the national hero, as one of the national hero, is the same image of an American by the name of Thomas Jennings who invented the iron board, I believe. You know, he invented the iron board. I believe so. I believe it's iron board he invented. So somebody's asking, will the real Power Bowl please stand up? Right. So you people celebrating something that you don't even know what of, and it is the same case with Nani after Maroon. There was a Nigerian female quote unquote warrior with the same storyline, the same storyline, all right, the same thing behind the same image, the same storyline, you know what I mean? So you people celebrating things that you don't even understand, instead of seeking to your power. That's why I come down to the point now, and I'm not saying like what, especially what this man did, which we're gonna zoom in on. So we're gonna read a little about Paul Bogle. We don't want this to be a very long thing. We're gonna read a little about Paul Bogle. But let me let me read this. Right. Jeremiah 3 verse 23. Truly in vain is salvation hoped for from the hills. Hills are what? Small government, you know. In today's society, the Maroons of I think it's a Kongpong, or wherever those Maroons are with Chief Curry. They are exalting themselves now as they're having their own government. That's what they, and hills represent small government. You talking about, and I'm not saying this is talking about the Maroons, but the form of government that you people, if people look to government in general for salvation, it is in vain, and from the multitude of mountains which are the bigger governments. So your smaller government, your JLP, your PMP, and that's why your people mourning until this very day, because those government, the hills, cannot bring you any form of hope. And from the multitude of mountains, neither America, right? Neither America nor any other nation nor China. Truly in the Lord, Yahweh, our power is the salvation of Israel. And the sooner you people, which you not recognize that Yahweh is a true savior, the better for you. Which majority will not acknowledge that anyway, but the elect will, you know, because guess what? These leaders gonna lead into a bloodshed. That's the ultimate this thing that happened, especially what the same thing happened to Paul Bogle. So somebody had sculptured out an image of Paul Bogle. So I'm not saying this is even how you look exactly, but you know, there's a thing, with these two. But let's read a little on this man. Let's read a little on this man, because the same thing that happened then is coming to every parish in Jamaica and across the world, states. All right, so let's read about Paul Bogle. Paul Bogle in 1822, 24th of October, 1865, was a Jamaican Baptist deacon and activist. He is a national hero of Jamaica. Now, remember, he is celebrated, right, by the same constitution back then, and it's the same constitution. No, he's celebrated by the same constitution that basically hanged him, man. But they have him up as a national hero. If he was here now, they wouldn't they celebrating him, but if he was here now, he would be against their policy. He will be against a lot of things: the social injustice, the insecurity, the high rising of prices. He would have been doing the same if he was doing the same thing. He's here and he's doing the same thing that he did back then. It would be the same outcome. The same one would actually kill him. All right, he was a leader of the 1865 Morant Bay protesters who marched for justice and fair treatment. And ain't that's what you see going on now? Unfair treatment and injustice for all the people in Jamaica, right? After leading the Morant Bay Rebellion, Bogle was captured, tried, and convicted by the colonial government, who had declared martial law. See, they had to declare martial law for this man because of what this man stirred up. See? So the same colonial government, it ain't changed. The same colonial government now. And that's why what they ever saying, say you're speaking the truth, um, is a revolutionary act in nowadays society, man. Roughly paraphrasing. See? So remember, he's a national hero, right? So on the 24th of October 1865 in the Morant Bay Courthouse. All right. Bogle had become a friend of wealthy landowner and fellow Baptist George William Gordon, a biracial man, which you can't be biracial. You're either one, which I don't know the specific nationality of George William Gordon, but you can't be biracial. You have to be, you're one race. You're what your father is. All right. A man who served in an assembly as one who represents from St. Thomas in the Baptist parish, one of the two representatives from St. Thomas in the East Parish. Gardner was instrumental in Bogle being appointed deacon of the Stony Brook Baptist Church in 1865. Right? Even the word Baptist, man, where do you think they get that from? John the Baptist, which Bogle was an Israelite though. Majority of the people here in Jamaica, you're of the tribe of Benjamin. Bogle was one of those tribes. Was a part of one of those tribes, which is more than likely it's Benjamin, because the Benjamites are predominantly in Jamaica, man. All right, so they had to declare martial law. What is martial law? Martial law is warlike laws, man. See? So let's jump back. He said, Gordon was instrumental in Bogle being appointed deacon of Stony Gut Baptist Church in 1864. Conditions were hard for black peasants due to social discrimination, flooding, and crop failure. Same thing is going on now. Only thing is that this crop failure that is happening in Jamaica is orchestrated by the international and your local government, all right? And epidemics, disease, right? Now we're gonna see this on a more grand scale, all right? All of these things, famine, you're gonna be famine. So you're not gonna be just crop failure, but you're gonna have an actual famine, all right? The required payment of poll taxes prevented most of them from voting. In August 1865, Gordon criticized the government of Jamaica Edward John Hare for sanctioning everything done by the higher class to the oppression of the Negroes. All right. Bogle concentrated on improving the conditions of the poor as awareness. All right, and that's to show you part of the curse, man, is that we were gonna come down very low. That's why we are classified as the poor. The poor. All right, we're gonna come down very low, and the nations that is among us gonna come up above us very high. And Edward here was a thing. He was a so-called white man. He was from a um. He's Esau, man. See that, right? That's a cracker right there. And he was what, or the slave master back then. But the so-called white man is still the slave master, I mean, up until this very day. So that's Edward here for you. See, as awareness of social injustice and people grievances grew, and that's exactly what is happening now. The grievances of the people is brewing, is growing, man. Because of what the high price in food, goods and service is becoming very unaffordable for a lot of people, and it is the poorer class are feeling it the most, right? So you're gonna have people like this again. You know what I mean? You're gonna have people like this that gonna tired of hearing the government and tired of hearing the empty promises. But you don't if you fight for those who will fight to hold up the system, go ahead. It is already ordained for people to fight against each other, man, like foes, you know with swords and whatever weaponry. But that's not the way. The elect men of the Lord, the disciples, the ones that are appointed, will not be involved in any fight to hold up society or for the better for this society. This society gonna have to be torn down. The world government gonna have to be torn down and removed. And then our righteousness, we wait on Yahweh Bashem Yahushai to save us, man. All right. Even in the midst of all of that, man, the hope of the elect gonna be in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Bogle led a group of small farmers 45 miles to the capital, Spanish Town, hoping to meet with Governor Eyre to discuss their issues, but they were denied an audience. The people of Stony Ghost lost confidence and trust, and that's exactly what's gonna happen now, man. The people gonna lose trust, lose confidence. So you see how the people of Stony Ghost lose or lost confidence and trust in the government. And that's how second Ezra 15 chapter gonna play out, man. This is scripture tell you. All things that are written aforetime for our learning, man. History gonna repeat itself. But history gonna be the history, and this part of history is coming back, man. Double. Alright. Bogle's supporter grew in number in the parish. Alright, so let's read a piece of second Ezra the 15th chapter. And then we got back to that. The scripture it says, woe. Second Ezra 15 verse 14, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. The word woe means mourning, lamentation, woes, all right, sorrow. This is gonna be caused by what? Um, Hunger and people killing each other for food. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. The whole inhabited earth gonna be troubled, man, by these same cases, these same cause. You see what's going on in Haiti right now, man. Zin, these are some of the very reason why Haiti is in an uproar right now. Zin, high rise, high cost of living. You know, high rise in prices, man. Those are some of the very reason. And it's the same thing going on worldwide. So what you think gonna happen? Worldwide, they're gonna be famine, man. Worldwide, they're gonna be protests. Worldwide, as you can see now, Germany, Italy, Greece, a lot of these European countries are in a heavy protest mode, right? Because of what? High price in gas, um, food shortage, you name it, man. For the word, for the sword and their destruction draw nigh, which is all of those things that we just call out: famine, literal sword, gun. Sword can be anything. All right, the sword and their destruction draw nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another with swords in their hand. See, so just like how Bogle led um farmers to the Spanish town. I think Spanish town was the de la Vega, Saint Diego de la Vega in Spanish town. I think that was the um Spanish town was the capital at that time. Right, it said it. It said it anyway. To the capital of Spanish town, hoping to meet with Governor Eyre to discuss their issues, but they were denied an audience. You know, the people. Um, I remember there was heavy racism, man. 'Cause one of the reason, if you can see, one of the reason why that they mention here. He said what conditions were hard for black what? Black peasants. See? Due to social discrimination. They were scorned. There was heavy racism. You know, so they were hated based on their skin color, or they look, the fact that they are what? Israelites. And that's where the real enmity is. Because we're Israelite and they are Edomites. That's where the real enmity begins between Esau and Jacob. From Genesis the 25th chapter. Right? It started from even before that though. You know what I mean? Because the devil, the so-called white man, was there in the garden too, man. You know? The most I put enmity between we and them. Hoping to meet with Governor Ear to discuss their issues, but they were denied an audience. The people of Stony Ghost lost confidence, they lost trust in the government. Bogle's supporter grew in number in the parish. So read about the Morant rebellion and then we go further and to close it. On the 7th of October 1865, Bogle and some supporters killed two men from Stonygoat. A black man was convicted and sentenced to prison on charge of trespassing on a long abandoned plantation. One member of Bogle's group protested in the court over the case, but was immediately arrested. Angering the crowd further, he was rescued moments later when Bogle and his men took to the market square and retaliated. The police were severely beaten and forced. That's what it's gonna come down to again: civilians versus the military and the police. Because guess what? No, they can tell the people them anything, and they stay put. But you know when they won't be able to tell the people them anything? Because there is no food. Let's go further into Second Ezra, the 15th chapter. You see what the which so for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hand. Let's go further to hear what it says. For there shall be what? Sedition among men. This was a sedition. Boglemen leading men, beating policemen. That was a sedition. That was an uprising against the government. And it led in bloodshed. We're gonna go further to hear it, man. In mass number of murder and killing. So what? There shall be sedition among men. Let's look up this word sedition. Right? Let's look up this word sedition. Define sedition. Conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority. See, conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority, of a state or monarch, and that's exactly what happened in the Morant Bay Rebellion. It was a sedition against the government, inciting to riot, rebellion. All right, and this is a prophetic verse, man. Zin, agitation, rabble rousing, fomentation of discontent, troublemaking, provocation, inflaming, rebellion, revolt, insurrection, rioting, mutiny. Yep, all of this is one is in sedition. So there shall be what? Sedition among men, seeing and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. So regardless of who your governor is, regardless of who your prime minister is, they will have them in no regard. They will have no care, right? Who you are, man, anymore. Now you see people, not no, because even now it's growing. It's growing like people are become really frustrated, and I call out the prime minister and calling him wicked. You know why? At one point you wouldn't hear it. You wouldn't hear people utter anything like that against the prime minister, like wicked, even pointing at him. You need pointing at him and saying, "Hey, you are the worst. You're the worst. You're the worst thing I could ever do in my life when I vote for you." You know, things like them. There. You know what I mean? Now you hear a whole lot of that in the streets, man. You see? And everything him do, the prime minister right now, him do it with military behind him and police. But it gonna come to a point where it's do or die for a lot of people because hunger not gonna make them stay in the house, man. Hunger gonna make them took to the street and you can't tell them go back in. But this is part of prophecy. Alright? And the course of their action shall stand in their power. So there will be no government over them, in no regard, no law. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Why? Because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled. You gonna be so mad out there, man. You go there in Kingston and one Spanish Town and can't left because the street gonna be so troubled. The houses shall be destroyed. Houses, man, where you live, people gonna break in, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. So it's not gonna be only a sedition against the authorities. Then the lower class versus the upper class. Downtown versus uptown, ghetto versus uptown. That's what it's gonna be. And it's gonna be bloody. Right? A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods, take them goods, because of the lack of bread, shortage of food, and for great tribulation. Alright, so let's jump to this. Let me go back a little bit. And the trumpet shall give a sound. This is 2 Ezra 6 verse 23. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. That's what's coming, man. What we just read in 2 Ezra 15 chapter is the blueprint for what is coming, man. That's the script. That's the movie script for what gonna play out. This is a prophetic scripture, but there are incidents, man, that took place on a low level and a low scale. You know what I mean? You can draw back for as reference. And the trump shall give a sound, and every man when every man hear it shall be suddenly afraid. At that time shall friends fight against one another like enemies. Seeing the maroon versus the regular people, even the Maroons, just because even the Maroons know they sided with the colonial masters, man. Zin, that's who friends against friends. That's basically because the word friends mean what, brother. Zin, people selling out them own people catching, because it gonna be no difference. Zin, our same people, just like even right now in the truth, we're gonna play out. Our same people gonna be against us, man. Just for what? Just for speaking the truth, right? So it's a friends, and at that time shall friends fight against one another like enemies. That's why we play out in the streets. And the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs and the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape, which are the elect, because only the elect will escape, and see my salvation and the end of your world. So your world is coming, man, to an end. All right, and we're not talking about the globe being destroyed or the earth being destroyed. We're talking about your rulership now. All right, your current rulership is coming to an end. The current society that you uphold, all right, that you believe in is coming to an end. All right, you're gonna be a new. You're gonna be changed. You're gonna be a new. Um, everything gonna be new. New governance in rulership, new governance in righteousness, man. All right, which begins with the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel. All right, so let's go back to the Morant Bay rebellion. So police were beaten and forced to retreat. Right, on Monday, the 9th of October 1865, warrants were issued against Bogle and a number of others for riot and assault. The police, you're gonna have not even leadership gonna count in that time. 'Cause every man I go fight for them life, man, because of hunger. Every man I go be against. In you have different factions, you have groups until it matter no more. That movie or that TV series, Dawn of Walking Dead or something like so. In interesting because even in that movie you have different gangs, different factions, different groups, you know. But you gonna be like that, man. In the care, people gonna fight two class, upper class, lower class. Yeah, man. Can't tell you exactly how it's gonna play out, but we know this is coming back in a big way. All right, right across the world. Just like what is, just look at Haiti for an example. You know, if you want to get a better picture, or look at Venezuela, the collapse of Venezuela economy. All right, all right. So the police arrived in Stony Brook to arrest Bogle, but met with stiff resistance from the residents. They fought the police, forcing them to retreat to Morant Bay. And that regard is coming back. That lack of respect, not even we say lack of respect, but that lack of regard for the force or for the military, that's coming back. You know, people not gonna give a fuck. That's why the scripture tell you, right? That's why the scripture tell you in 2 Ezra 15, man. Saying they shall regard, there shall be sedition among men, rebellion against the authority. They shall what? They shall not regard their kings nor their princes. Them now give a damn about what authority, what position you hold. All right. A few days later, on the 11th of October 1865, there was a vestry meeting in the courthouse. That day, Bogle led hundreds of followers armed with sticks and machetes, and this time it's gonna be with guns and whatever weaponry they can find. You know, bombs, buckler bombs, and all of that. That's what people going to use nowadays in current modern society. You know what I mean? The word modern mean current. All right, that's what it gonna be. All right, armed with sticks and machetes, you AR-15, whatever rifle, Glock, whatever gun they ain't gonna have to. See, you gonna be fire out there, man. You gonna be really chaotic out there, man. On a protest march to the courthouse, the authorities had mustered a volunteer militia who fired into the protesters after stones were thrown, killing 7 men. The protesters set fire to the courthouse and nearby buildings when officials tried to leave. Several were killed by the angry mob outside. Who? Officials. Your government officials. They were what? Killed. So your Christopher Tufton, your Andrew Holness, all of them are government officials. Your Daryl Vaz, all of them like in parliament, they are government officials. You see? Buildings burning down. You see? They're gonna burn down buildings, man. Alright, people gonna lose it. They gonna lose it, because they trust not in the Most High Yahweh Shem Yeshai. They refuse to know Him. When the officials tried to leave, several were killed by angry mob outside. A total of 25 on both sides died that day. Coming on to the last part, we're not gonna go into everything. Black peasants rose up and took control of the parish for 2 days. The governor quickly retaliated, declaring martial law. And that's what is coming back. Martial law is coming back. Then martial law will be instituted nationwide, not only in Spanish Town, not only in Kingston, but nationwide. Or the whole country will be under martial law and ordering troops to capture the rebels and suppress the rebellion. The troops destroyed the Stony God and Parbogas chapel, killing more than 400 persons outright across the parish, including women and children. See? Including who? Women and children. See? And that is this time coming. Just know that the women and children were scared back then, were afraid. They were afraid, man. See? And that fear is coming back, man. To these independent ladies. Zane, to these I don't need a man, lady, woman. Zane, these women that say them don't need a man, them independent, them whatever, this and that. You won't be spared either. Because people not gonna regard the thing between your leg. People not gonna regard the old nor the young. They arrested more than 300 persons, including Bogle. Jamaican Maroons, we have now the Maroons, then where people now I talk about, where in the news every now and then, right? This is one of their actions. This is one of the things that the Maroons did to the people who were rebelling against the system for for ill treatment, you know, for better living. They revolted for better living, but the Maroons helped to catch them. The Maroons from Moortown eventually captured Bogle and delivered him to the colonial government. You see that? So you people go and think that the Maroons, or like, and think highly and exalted these Maroons, which the word maroon is a generic term for black. All right, think is a Latin word maros. You know what I mean? So, and that's why you see you get the word Moortown. And there's a thing the Moors, the so-called Moors. There was a time when the Moors ruled Europe, but the word Moors just read black or dark skin. Moortown eventually captured Bogle and delivered him to the colonial government. He was tried under martial law and quickly executed. And he was tried under what? Under martial law. What do you even? Alright, there's a thing. Say it like this. There's a thing that the government of Jamaica, leading with Andrew Holness, they created what you call um the disaster risk management act or something like that. The disaster management act. I forgot the exact name, but it's a act like a martial law, right? That they can persecute you under that act, right? Because in any form of uprising or anything where look anti-government, they can persecute you, right? And where many others including women. So even women get locked up and brought back to Morant Bay to be tried under martial law. Gordon was convicted of conspiracy and hanged on the 23rd of October. Yep. Mm-mm. So see, that's what Bogle did. That's what Bogle did, man. See, but guess what? He's a national hero. He is celebrated today, right? He is celebrated today to show you what a hypocritical are the hypocrisy of the people of Jamaica. Because a lot of them that believe in these heroes and sing song in times like these we're missing our heroes. We sing all of them song there. Them wouldn't support any support Bogle. They wouldn't be on his side. A lot of them, man. The government would have still kill him. The government know they kill the government know, even though we have Andrew Holness is the one in the prime minister seat and not a cracker. But the cracker rule over that man. Andrew Holness would still put out and still persecute him. Zin just for rebelling against them for their wicked act and for the injustice that they do. Right? So yeah, that's the lesson, man. And lesson is not to say or tell anyone to rebel. Eventually they will, but this is not to tell anyone to rebel. For a message, our message, which is to the elect, is that we will wait on the Most High. All right. Let me show you what the Most High, Jeremiah 5, right? Let me show you what the Most High do to unjust men. This is what we're waiting on, right? When it comes to wicked men, this is what we are waiting on, right? This is Jeremiah 5 and 26. For among my people are found wicked men. So when you have wicked leaders, wicked men in authority, they lay wait as he that setteth snares, they set a trap, they catch men. As a cage is full of birds, so are their houses full of deceit. Therefore they are become wax great and waxen rich. So they become great and wax rich when from off the back of the poor, and while the poor suffer, they become rich and fat. They are waxing fat, they shine, yea, they overpass the deeds of the wicked. So even what Edward here used to do, currently you have Andrew Holness doing far worse, and his cabinet doing far worse. And even previous government do far worse to us as a people or to you people than what Edward here did, man. And they're gonna do far worse. Alright? They judge not the cause, just like they did not judge the cause of the people in Morant Bay. They still not doing that, man. They still not judging the cause of the fatherless, yet they prosper. When the people are hungry, they don't judge it. When the people are in turmoil, talking about injustice and and all of those things, social discrimination, they did not support them, yet they prosper. And the right of the needy do they not judge. So we know this. We know that these men are doing wickedly. But this is what the Heavenly Father said. Shall I not visit for these things? So we waiting, man. We're not gonna take up arms to do any to lead any rebellion against them, man. Zin, a righteous rebellion is coming. And the Heavenly Father say he will visit for it. So we wait on him. He see the wickedness. Him know. Alright? Him know say these people are hypocrites. He know that the so-called white man are wicked. He's the one, man, that create him to be wicked. But the so-called white man is overdone. He has overdone his wickedness, man. Alright? And the people among us, man, or the people of our own nation that rule as taskmasters, man, over the people of the Most High, they're gonna be visited too. Shall I not visit for these things, said the Most High? Shall not my soul be avenged on such a nation as this? A wonderful and horrible thing is committed in the land. The prophets prophesy falsely, prosperity, or better outcome, this and that. And, lie to the people. And the priests bear rule by their means. From your pastors to your governments, they are liars, man. And my people love to have it so. And what will he do in the end thereof? Because there is an end. That's why the scripture says in Jeremiah, wait on me until the day when I rise up to the prayer. We know one day the Most High will rise up to the prey, and that's what we hope on. That's why we're waiting on. With that, man, hope this lesson was edifying. Shalom.